TNKR Media.
Welcome to Inspiring Entrepreneurs Montreal, our 15th season, showcasing stories from outstanding business people, presented by BDO Canada. My name is Dan Delmar, along with Euros Malekic, who's sitting in for my co-host Mike Newton. Euros, welcome back.
Delighted to be back, Dan.
I'm pretty hungry. It's brunch time, so what better accessory to talk about than smoked salmon?
I was just going to say I'm excited for Laura Boivin to come tell her story. I'm always amazed with all the entrepreneurs, Dan, that we bring on the show. Everyone has their own unique story, and they're all hungry for betterment. But when we're talking about hungry, I don't know how I'm going to go through the episode without trying to eat something, because we're talking about smoked salmon on the show today. And I'll just say one more thing. I was watching a video. BBC actually has a video on grizzly bears' amazing salmon catching techniques. So when the grizzly bear is triggered by hormonal changes, they enter this phase of hyperphagia, and they can eat constantly for up to 20 hours a day without ever feeling full. I think they consume up to like 100,000 calories in a single day. Wouldn't that be something then?
Oh, well, Fumoir Grizzly products are really delicious, but not sure if you want to eat that much. Although I have seen them in stores. I've bought the products over the years. They're pretty great. So we're going to talk about the process, how they make their smoked salmon, a little different there. The use of maple syrup is going to come up, which I love. And some new product lines, including poke and tartars that they've launched. So they're really trying to make the products more accessible. Laura Boivin, a former lawyer who was representing the company and decided to just go on and get involved. So we'll talk to her in a little bit. And as well, we'll have our BDO expert, Elida Eid, Senior Manager, People Advisory Services at BDO Canada, talking about the role of HR leaders in transforming your business. That is on the way. But first, Euros, some current affairs news. And let's begin with this story from Inc.com, why your most valuable employee is often the silent one. And I like this story as someone who's kind of an introvert. It's good to spot out introverts in your workforce and to help them succeed.
For sure. I think, we've heard of quiet quitting a lot in the last year or two. There's another slang out there, but this one is a little more positive. The article actually refers to it as the quiet performer. So someone who's consistently doing their job, doesn't complain, works well with others, but isn't the loudest in the room. And as a business owner, you think, who would you rather employ? The loudest person in the room, or the person that's going to perform well, but not going to say much, low maintenance, if you will? I think that the answer really, Dan, depends on the job. The important part for a business owner is to not let the quieter talent go unnoticed. The article actually references an interesting story of a business owner, let's call him Randy, who had a quiet performer in his team. And this team member would show up almost daily to Randy's office to deal with customer issues, provide him with reports that he needed. And he never complained nor vented, didn't toot his own horn, very, very low maintenance. And one day, Randy had one of his other business owner friends in the office, and this team member walked in, handed in his daily reports, which Randy did need, and he left politely. Later, Randy's friend, the other business owner, he comments that to Randy, your team member doesn't say much. And the Randy responded, which is interesting, no, he's awesome. I wish I had 20 of them. So I think what's different here is Randy's friend's perspective was, in his own business, he may have likely ranked this team member in the bottom half of performers due to his perceived lack of enthusiasm. So that's one of the risks when you have upper management that are conducting, performance evaluations, to not forget about the quiet worker who's in fact a top performer. You want to give, we often want to give to those that complain rather than reward those that perform. And then if you look at Mark Cuban, he's talked about how the people that he tends to hire are the driven learners who understand that the greatest value that they can offer is to reduce their boss's stress. So if you're a stress reducer, you're going to do well.
Yeah, it's interesting, and I've noticed over the years some of the quiet employees may also have other stuff going on. Maybe they have a personal situation, a young child, maybe they have a side gig. As long as they're performing, they're getting the job done, they're posting good results, and are easy to work with. That's fine. And as an employer, I'm even okay with people being somewhat distracted by side gigs or whatnot if they're doing performing well.
Absolutely, Dan. And I think to add to that, if you're not a company, a business with 5,000 employees, and even if you are, you should still try and do this. But when you're a small, medium-sized business, it's easier. Get to know your team. Spend some time with each team member. Have regular touch points with them. Get involved. It's easier that way to be self-aware, of potential issues they may be dealing with at the time when you're speaking with them on a work engagement. You could be a little more sensitive and empathetic if they're having to deal with something, for sure.
This otherinc.com story you wanted to get to, and let's go through the list here together, Euros. 6 simple growth hacks for startups. So if you have a new business, you really like these tips. Number 1, let's start with create expert content. That one appeals to me.
Yeah, number one is that content is king, right? I mean, it's what drives the brand and engages customers, and it can come in many forms. Of course, there's the traditional form in articles, blog posts, but what we can't forget about that is the audio and video content, as you know so well, and that's very relevant, these days. I think as a business owner, you should become they say in the article, become a video star, right? It's their second tip. Get used to the camera. Audio visual is more important than ever before. Everyone's on the go. So to showcase your content, you need to make yourself available to the consumer through different channels. I mean, video content is huge. YouTube, I think, is now number 2 search engine in the world, right behind Google.
Yep, absolutely. As we often say to clients, you have a different media mix. Everyone has a different media mix and have to reach their clients in the best channels possible. Number 2, tip for startups, syndicate content to grow backlinks. And that is something that is also really relevant to content. It's not just about informing the public and ideally having expert advice and useful content there for your audience. But what about the resources that might go back a few years? How can you create value for that? There's a lot of value to me in I guess housing your research, housing your wisdom on your website.
For sure, and I think it's like backlinks are the lifeblood of SEOs, right? Search engine optimization. I think you become a source of knowledge and insight for the press. Get interviewed on podcasts. Spread yourself out there to your network. Write articles on other people's sites, and it's a nice way to bring business back into your own channel. And I think another one is, building email relationships with your target market, right? We see, I mean, every inbox these days is cluttered with spam, but you need to keep in mind that it's a numbers game, right? And emails are still a channel that work to get your clients' attention. So when someone gives you their email address, they're essentially giving you permission to connect with them. So when you compare email campaigns with a social media posting, let's say as an example, an email, it's like pinning a flyer up on someone's front door versus hoping that they see one that has been posted on the corner telephone pole as they walk by. So you got to create ways for people to sign up also to your newsletters.
Yes, absolutely. No argument there. So part of the services we offer have to do with newsletters and maintaining contact. Although, as I wrote on our website recently, I have to say some people send too many, right? And you have to be conscious of the fact that people are busy, people have families, it's tough times. Don't throw stuff in people's inbox unless you find it useful for them.
A good client of mine once told me quality over quantity. Quality brings quantity. So I absolutely agree with you.
Okay, so from content, speaking of content to innovation, you wanted to mention this program from the Government of Canada. It's called the Canada Digital Adoption Program, CDAP. And I've encountered this before. I see some young companies dipping into that. This is basically to help you to supersize your internet and your e-commerce.
Exactly. It's created, like you said, by the Government of Canada. It's to help small and medium-sized businesses adopt digital technologies to basically help them stay competitive and become more competitive in their market space. So what you get as an eligible business is you can receive a grant. and that's going to be designated to help build your digital plan. And that's followed by a 0%, so an interest-free loan of up to $100,000 to implement that digital plan. Now, in today's market, an interest-free loan, as we all know too well, is very enticing. Evidently, the interest rates have creeped up even higher in the last few quarters. So I think it's something that could be very useful for small and medium-sized businesses. And the type of technology adoption that we're talking about here, Dan, is digital marketing, e-commerce, improving operations efficiency and profitability through digital tools and investments. So there's different. It's focused as a grant and interest, and a program, but there's still some flexibility in terms of what you can do. And they made it quite simple. You register on under the Government of Canada website. There's a link, and the website is ised-isde.canada.ca, or you can just search CDAP program under BDC or through the Government of Canada website. You should find it there. You build your digital plan with the help of an approved partner. I know BDO Canada is accredited for that, so we can certainly help there. And BDC can work with you to find someone suitable. And once you get your approval, you submit your invoices, and they'll disperse a grant of up to $15,000 to cover your advisory fees. Then once that's approved, you can apply for the loan of up to $100,000, and that loan size depends on your business revenues. So just to be clear, last thing, Dan, on who can apply. Basically, your business has to be a Canadian-owned business, for profit, between 1 to 499 employees, and have had at least $500,000 in annual revenue in one of the last 3 years. So I think the best thing to do is speak with your accountant, CPA, your professional advisors, and see if this is something that's suitable for your business.
Very interesting, because they're walking you through the process in a sense. They're giving you, a little bit of a loan to start the R&D, and then more to continue the process. So much more closely following the progress of a business, I think, than perhaps programs of the past. So again, that's Canada Digital Adoption Program, CDAP. And thanks, Euros. Pretty interesting program there for a lot of businesses.
Yeah, and just one last thing, Dan, as part of that program, I didn't mention, there's also an aspect of subsidizing the cost of an employee. So you might be eligible for that too. So another reason to go check out the website.
All right, coming up, we'll introduce you to our entrepreneur for today, Laura Boivin, CEO of Fumoir Grizzly. They do smoked salmon and all kinds of fish found in most grocery stores in Quebec. Laura Boivin is here, the CEO of Grizzly Fumoir. They make smoked fish like smoked salmon and other products from the sea. Laura, welcome to CJAD.
Thank you, Dan, to have me. And in fact, yes, we are probably everywhere in a grocery store with our products. So I hope that everyone has the occasion to taste it.
We're going to delve in deep into the product and where you're going into the future. But first, for those that don't know, what is Grizzly Fumoir?
Grizzly, we are located in province of Quebec in Saint-Augustin-de-Desmaures, 5 kilometers away from Quebec City. And we processing smoked salmon for now more than 30 years. We do for the last 5-7 years, I would say, we process tartar salmon, tuna salmon, and also we have Patty's burger that we launched a few years ago on a grocery store.
Can you tell us, Laura, a bit about the name and where that comes from, Fumoir Grizzly? Obviously, we have a little bit of a background in terms of grizzly bears, but perhaps you can dive into that a little bit.
Yeah, I was not the founder of this company. Pierre Fontaine was a founder. He was a passionate guy, goes on the forest for developing this recipe that we're still processing today. And Grizzly bear are the bigger fan of smoked salmon. They love salmon, and you can see them catching the salmon on the river on the fall. And this is why Pierre, 30 years ago, chose this name. And I know that some people think that we are from West Coast because the name of the company, but we really are in Quebec, and with a big fan of Grizzly too.
And certainly a lot of people are fans of it. I know just culturally, my family and Jewish people in general love their lox. It's a huge cultural thing. And I know you are kosher, right? Do you have many markets that you serve like that? And
yeah, we do because we with the kosher certification, we are certain that there's no cross-contamination. It means that if you have any allergy, you can trust our products that there was no cross-contamination with other products you could be allergic. So for us, it's also a gain of, I would say, quality. This is why we keep the kosher certification.
Laura, I want to take you back to what you said a moment ago. The business has been around for 32 years, if I'm not mistaken. You bought it in 2009, right?
Exactly.
What prompted you to buy a business in the Canadian food market? Did you have experience in the food industry, or was this new for you at the time?
This is a long story, but let's say that I'm a lawyer too. I was a lawyer, and I practiced in the corporate law mainly for 10 years. And I was in private law for 22 years. And I used to represent Fumoir Grizzly as a client for me. And my husband and me were doing more kind of a corporate reorganization, and we had to work with Grizzly. So we knew that this company was a really good company. But to be honest, I didn't know nothing about salmon. Didn't know, and even if my practice in law was to give advice to the CEO of the company, I didn't know nothing about production or about quality control. Everything was a big surprise for me. But I stayed with Pierre during 18 months when we bought this company, and then he can teach me a little bit. But I didn't know nothing about English. I know nothing about salmon and nothing about production. So I went back to the university, and I did my, a new program to be sure that I could manage adequately this company. But short story, I was a lawyer for this company, and we just decided to buy it. And yeah.
Wow, that's so interesting. So really a natural entrepreneur instinct there, Laura Boivin of Grizzly. Tell me those first early days. Take me back to those early days. You show up for work. This is your company. What are you doing? Tell me about that, the intimidation factor there that you face when you go in those early days.
First of all, you have to know that there's many different kind of salmon. You probably know we process here in our plant 4 different kind of salmon: Atlantic, coho, trout, and sockeye, which is a wild caught. And I didn't even know that there was 4 kind of salmon. I didn't know that there was kind of a contamination bacteria on every food industry. And then this is what intimidated me, to not knowing everything I need to know to grow up this company, because my goal was to grow, was to make this company famous and to innovate. This is really what I wanted to do, but I didn't have the tool to do that at this time. And also, we have 100 employees. So as a lawyer, you don't really need to be I would say, a bienveillant management, to be good with the people. We need to be good naturally, but to gain our employees, to make them motivate, to make retention, to make mobilization, you need to be care with them, to take care of them. Sorry. So this is what intimidated me too, and I need to learn about that and make me more accessible. Because as a lawyer, we don't need to be like that, even if naturally we can be. But this is.
How many team members were you when you started? Do you remember back in 2009 versus now? You mentioned just.
I would say around 50.
Oh, so it's doubled.
Yeah.
It's basically doubled. And what would you say is some of the challenges? I know we talk a lot about on the show in terms of challenges in retaining your top talent. I know you offer training. You want to help your team members pursue their studies. Can you maybe give some tips to entrepreneurs that are tuning in?
Yes. First of all, we need to make them, the people working for us, important. They make them, feel that you really care about what they do for you, and we need them, even whatever the job they do on your company, because this is the truth. This is a reality. We need everyone on the function that they do. And this is what we forget, on the stress, on the day-to-day basic, we forgot some time to tell the people working with us that they are important. So this is the advice I should give for everyone who would like to grow on a company, grow their company.
Where did you first develop your entrepreneurial instincts? Did you have parents or family members that implanted that seed into you?
No. My father was a musician. No, this is not my family. But working with CEO as a lawyer during many years make me like that. I think that this is make me feel that I should do that instead of giving them advice. So just because I feel that I could succeed more working with people than give advice.
You mentioned, a few products, 4 different kinds of salmon. There's a consistency, I think, in how you finalize the product, right? You brush it at the end. I was hearing about with maple syrup. Is that right?
Yeah, this is our process. Yes.
Can you maybe tell the average consumer, maybe some people are more savants, I guess, in terms of smoked salmon, but could you tell the average audience member, and what that entails and why that's done?
So we do with the maple wood, meaning that we burn real wood on the oven and we smoke the fish with real maple wood. And then we salt it, we dry cure with the salt, and then we water it and we brush with maple syrup. It's all natural products, no color add, it's really, really natural. And there's a lot processor, they use brown sugar instead of using maple syrup. So we want to keep it really quality, and it doesn't taste too much when we eat it, but we avoid to use sugar.
It complements the saltiness, I guess.
Yes.
It's that sweet and salty, yeah.
We want to keep a low rate of salt. And using maple syrup, we cut the salt on the flesh. So it avoids the salt to take, all the place on the taste. And we want to taste fish also. This is
right.
This is mainly the goal. And we process every kind of salmon on the same way. Whatever the kind of salmon we are processing, that if you see difference, this is because this is different genetic. So salmon, trout, Atlantic, coho, sockeye, they are different texture. They have different taste, color. So this is good to talk about that with you, because we can educate more a little bit the customer.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's why I asked. And I wasn't trying to be ignorant. It's just, some people know more about smoked salmon than others.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty ready for brunch at this point. I want to dig into the product a little bit more, talk about R&D. Now, Laura, remind me, how long have you been head of Grizzly?
We bought this company in 2009 with my husband. And I managed this company since this time. So I don't know, 14 years maybe.
Okay.
We're getting older.
Now, I want to talk about R&D because you actually were in the news recently. Tell me about a partnership with a university to work on safer food.
First of all, I'd like to tell you that we want to be really innovative company. We work a lot on innovation. Since the last 5 years, we launched 19 new products on a grocery store. So this is I would say, genetically in us to develop new products. And we had the opportunity to develop bioingredients with Laval University. It was a long project of research with them. As a small company, obviously, we didn't have the money to do this kind of research because it's really, really big. But with the partnership with Laval University, we succeed to find a bioingredient. And this bioingredient, when we apply it on the food industry, when you use it on the food industry, we can kill bacteria named Listeria. And Listeria is naturally present on environment, and it's naturally present on agri-food business. And this is a fight that we have to do on a day-to-day when we manage on the food industry. So Grizzly own a commercial license to commercialize this bioingredient worldwide. And this is what we are doing, in fact. And we think that it's really a big revolution, because you have to know that Listeria is a bigger cause of recall, microbiological recall in the food industry. So you can see it and mainly there's a lot in the United States, but in Canada, this is the main cause of recall too. So with our bioingredient, since it's a really natural product, it's kind of probiotic. It's literally probiotic, really simple. We grow bacteria, and with using it, we can avoid and kill Listeria. So it's avoid also disease for the human being. And we know that we have the homologation from the Health Department, Canada, in 2017. And we are waiting. We will have soon the homologation from the FDA also, so we can commercialize it in the United States.
And I know before the break, Laura, you were mentioning that in your process, you use real wood, no injections. It's all natural products. There's no color added, right? It's all green label. So I guess ESG, environmental, social, and governance score, is an important variable for you, for your company.
As a company, we have we can change things. We can act to change things and improve the life and in the interest of everyone. This is what we want to do, and with our bioingredient and doing things naturally and more trendy, and offering our customer new trendy products, we think that we can make life of everyone better. This is our goal. We need to do that to grow and to be a good company.
And I think it's nice to see, even from an investment standpoint, more investors are putting importance on an ESG, this environmental, social, and governance score. So it's nice to see that everyone's sort of banding together and valuing the fact that this is of importance to public health in general. I want to ask another question about technology. I think this was maybe just before you acquired the company. I was reading that there's this automated cutting slicer high precision machine that you have. I think it's the only one in North America. Can you talk to us about what that change in terms of bringing in technology into the business process has done for your business?
Yes, we are the only one in North America to have this kind of technology here. We can decide every precise specs of our projects. It makes our projects constant, and the customer could expect to have the same thing every time on their packaging. And also, we are more efficient on the production. This is a really great equipment, and it's also more. We can have also more data about our production with this kind of equipment. So, and during the last few years, we also improve other sector of our plant. So we buy a lot to automize, because as everyone, we have a problem to find good employees. So this is a main problem at this time in the province of Quebec. So we have to automize and bring our people working for us at other level, so they can still help us to grow. But we bought a lot of automatic equipment since the last few years. And in fact, we had also some financial help to do that. We try to keep the lower price we can to make our products accessible, but at some point, it's not easy for anyone at this time in the food industry.
I want to pick up on the accessibility point in some of your new products, because for generations, it seems, smoked salmon came in that one pallet. You had your slices of fish, that was it. Now you're saying you have the burgers and the poke sort of formats. What trends are you seeing that are helping your business grow?
We pick the idea from everywhere, because for example, the pookie, one day the tartar one day there's a broker in Alaska called me and say, Laura, have you already heard about tartar? oh, what is it? So it's Pookie. They name it Pookie, and it's from Hawaii. So, oh, okay. And I say, oh, send me some pictures so I can see what is it. And it's 8 years ago. And finally, we were the first one launching a tartar in a grocery store. And I would say that this is in a restaurant. We are everywhere, and it's good because we are helping our customer. But I have to tell that 55% of our business is on the food service. So we supply restaurants, and we wanted to help them because they have also some problem to find a good employee. So we supply them tartar, we supply them everything already ready to serve, so they don't have to hire someone to cut to handle it. And we work with them on an R&D project to find a way to make their life easier as a chef on a restaurant. Or this is the way we work on innovation. We work with our customer and say, okay, what can help you? What can we do to help you to make a second step, to avoid to hire some people to do it, and let's us to be your plant, literally. There's some idea pop up on our mind, and we work on that.
It's nice when you're working with a flexible product too. I think like salmon, it's fairly flexible. It allows the customer to kind of play the chef with your different products. I think that's
You're
interesting
right.
for sure.
Yeah,
And
you're right.
especially when you're entertaining guests, it's great that you can go out and serve these hors d'oeuvres that seem like elite, right? Let me ask you, Laura, about like the revenue channels. So business to business versus direct to consumer. Can you talk to us a bit about your strategy there and where you want to focus on going forward?
We sell mainly frozen product, and it's really higher quality. So everything is important when we deliver. We need to keep it frozen. We need to check if the cold chain to be sure that everything will goes on a good quality on our customer. So because of it, we don't deliver. We don't have any truck. This is why we use some distributor. They are better than us to do it. So we use, every distributor in the province of Quebec, may name it, we are there. And they are the one we sell to them, and then they ship everything to our customer on a food service channel. If we are talking about retail, we do directly business with the retailer. So every grocery store in the province of Quebec, even the smaller, the bigger, we are everywhere, and we sell directly to them. So we never do business on the B2C channel. We do only B2B because we don't have a truck to deliver, and we don't want to go this way. We're not good. Everyone has to be good on what they do. So this is what we choose.
Thank you, Laura. Interesting strategy. Laura Boivin, CEO of Grizzly Smokehouse. We'll have her one piece of advice for inspiring entrepreneurs in just a moment. But first, let's just check in with our BDO specialist. Elida Eid is Senior Manager, People Advisory Services at BDO Canada. We're talking about HR today. Elida, welcome back.
Thank you for having me.
In Euros, we often like to start the season with little general chats on some big picture stuff. So taxes, maybe we'll do next week. Let's do HR today and how important it is in terms of transforming and maintaining your business.
Right, Dan. So, Elida, let's jump right into it. I mean, I'm sure we've all seen businesses that have had to undergo some sort of, transformation to really survive in the competitive market in today's world. So, can you maybe, tell us what the role of HR leaders is in this transformation?
Yes, of course. So, HR leaders, they play a critical role in transformation and change. Whenever they get the chance to. So they can partner with the business leaders to help design and prepare for change initiatives using a human-centered approach. They help you stay aligned with the organization's purpose, values, and culture throughout the transformation process, which means they can help the company remain connected to its purpose despite the changes that it's implementing. They help you ensure that the right people are involved in driving the change, and they can help you plan for success by assessing readiness for change, challenges, and sustainability. One thing that I would say is don't involve HR leaders too late in the process, because that tends to happen often, or either too late or just no involvement at all. And just keep in mind that they're a great ally in helping you develop a strategic communication plan for your change initiative, and they identify the right information to communicate, the frequency, and the most effective way to deliver it. So all of these elements I find have a direct impact on how people experience change.
And you mentioned using a human-centered approach. What would you say, Elida, are the key elements to succeed with this type of approach?
A human-centered approach is going to enable you, or help you think about all employees at every stage of the journey, starting with the initial conversations around the change initiative, up to the design phase and all the phases that come after that. So just keeping, your employees and your people, thinking about them at every stage. And one thing that I'm often repeating, I find nowadays, is that we have to keep in mind that we've all lived kind of a reset in the past couple of years that impacted who we are as a whole and our overall energy for change. So the main thing is to bring people to see that it's an opportunity rather than a threat. Also, when it comes to a human-centered approach, no change or transformation plan is perfect. So gathering feedback on your execution is key. So you can do this by providing employees with the appropriate channels to voice their feedback and concerns throughout the process, to assess engagement levels and training needs, and just tailor your company's approach to the change as best as you can and as you go.
Yeah, for sure. And thanks, Elida. Very, very wise words. I think change is good. You need to embrace it. There's a lot of different variables, as you mentioned, and it's important for the owner operators of businesses to work with the right professionals to help adopt some of these changes that are going to help them stay competitive in the future.
Absolutely.
Elida Eid, Senior Manager, People Advisory Services at BDO Canada. Thanks again, Elida.
Thanks, Dan.
And to conclude the show, let's turn to our entrepreneur, Laura Boivin, CEO of Grizzly Fumoir, and ask her, Laura, for your one piece of advice for inspiring entrepreneurs, please.
Yeah, yes, just one piece, not two. So, but I will take the best. I would say that for many years we did not do any R&D in Grizzly because we were afraid to spend money and we were afraid to miss our shot. But if you don't take the shot, you don't make any goal. So I would say take a risk, calculate it, but we have to take some risk because we will have some, I would say, failure, and it will happen, but we will learn and then we will restart, and then this is the way we grow. So take the risk, calculate it, but don't take the chance to miss the point, because in 2023 everything goes fast. If you don't take any chance, you will just look the train pass and nothing will happen.
Excellent advice. Laura Boivin, thanks so much. And Euros, an example of someone who had a really pure entrepreneurial spirit as a lawyer and then saw this opportunity, went for it, grew the business, became really passionate. And it's great to see put a face to the name of a product that we've seen in the grocery store so often.
Thank you for being here, and I love that advice. It reminds me of that Michael Jordan quote where, he shot how many shots at the basketball rim, but and that's why he has so many points recorded in his history. So I love that. And you know what? Feedback is a gift. I think if you don't welcome it and understand it, you can't benefit from it. So absolutely agree with you. Thank you so much, Laura.
Thank you for your time. Thank you.
It was a pleasure, Laura. And a reminder, you can subscribe to Inspiring Entrepreneurs Montreal as a podcast on iHeartRadio, Apple, or your favorite platform. You can also log on to the website, inspiringentrepreneursmtl.com, for hundreds of local entrepreneur profiles. Thanks, Euros, and we'll be back next week.
This has been a production